Hi, welcome to Anaprime Recap. You are bitten by a vampire and will have to fight alongside him to battle otherworldly creatures, demons and beings of darkness. We are on the anime, Hellsing Ultimate, Season 1. Episode 1. In the residence of the Hellsing clan, Integra, a young girl, tries to hide and escape from her own uncle. He is looking for the girl to eliminate her, because his brother left all the family inheritance only to the girl. The man searches for his niece, but Integra acts fast by managing to hide in the site's underground facilities. While fleeing from danger, the young woman recalls that her father, before he passed away, informed her that the girl should go to a prison located in the basement of the house when she was in danger, because in this place, she would find absolute protection. The girl desperately runs to the place in search of safety. She opens an old door and finds a body on the floor. She is confused to see that, as she expected to feel safe. At that moment, the girl's uncle arrives on the scene, and without hesitation, shoots his niece. Integra suffers a serious injury to her body and a few drops of her blood fall on the body on the ground. The girl's uncle approaches and prepares to eliminate her, but before he could do anything, he ends up in shock when he realizes that the body was moving. The man who appeared to be lifeless, frees himself from his bonds and a magical symbol appears in his hands. He faces everyone around him and prepares to take action. Years later, Integra, director of the Hellsing organization, talks to a group of police officers during an operation. She reveals that the recurring abnormal cases in a nearby village are caused by a monster, so the police could do absolutely nothing. Integra explains that there is a vampire in the place. He is turning the residents into ghouls, a kind of zombie that obeys the orders of the Blood Eater. For this reason, sending police to confront them would only be a way to feed the creatures of the night. At that moment, the officer who was at the scene receives the news that the search parties had been eliminated by the monsters. Integra is not surprised by the arrival of the news, stating that from now on, the Hellsing organization will take the lead in the operation. The woman says that one of the best vampire experts is on his way to the town of Cheddar, and asks everyone to take it easy, as the problem will be solved in a few hours. On the outskirts of the village, a single policewoman tries to flee the place after seeing all her companions eliminated. However, the host vampire finds her on the way. He manages to restrain her and claims that he will turn her into a loyal servant. The girl screams for help, but realizes that she is surrounded by several ghouls, and some are her own police partners. In the midst of despair, an unknown presence arrives on the scene, and the host vampire quickly identifies him. He acts quickly and orders his servants to shoot the target. Then the policemen who have been transformed begin to shoot several times at the unknown subject, causing his body to be almost completely destroyed. Integra tells the police officers that the chosen agent is not a human. After all, the human race is easily injured. To face a vampire, the best option is to use another vampire in the counterattack. The woman states that he belongs to the first class and his name is Alucard. After the bursts of gunfire, Alucard stands up again. His body begins to fully regenerate from his injuries and he prepares to begin his counterattack. The organization's agent, Hellsing, wields his two pistols and fires several shots at the ghouls, eliminating them instantly. The host vampire is impressed by this. After all, his minions were being defeated with just one shot. Alucard explains that his bullets are special, as they are made of molten silver from a cross in Lancaster Cathedral. For this reason, his weapon is able to eliminate any dark creature. The host vampire questions why Alucard was attacking his own race, protecting the puny humans, and quickly approaches the policewoman and captures her. He asks Alucard to let him escape. However, the Hellsing vampire asks if the policewoman is still pure. The girl is embarrassed by the question, but answers yes in the face of the pressure of the moment. After this response, Alucard fires a shot at the host vampire, but the projectile also passes through the girl's body. The scarlet vampire then advances against his enemy and pierces his body with his own hand. The monster that was causing trouble in the village is finally eliminated. The vampire approaches the policewoman and reveals that in order not to pierce her heart, he had to hit her lung with the shot. The already stunned girl has old memories about her family and erases them soon after. The young woman then wakes up in another world. She realizes that she is wearing pajamas and is startled to realize that a group of zombies was advancing towards her. Immediately, she runs to get rid of the attack, but is faced with Alucard in front of her. The vampire asks what it feels like to be in another world. Then he says that that was the choice the girl made, so she would have a new life being a vampire. After that, the policewoman wakes up in a room next to Alucard. She realizes that there is no longer any wound on her body, and new fangs have appeared in her mouth. Integra enters the premises and explains that from this moment on, the policewoman will work solely for the Royal Order of Protestants, better known as the Hellsing organization. The director of the organization, identifies that there is a group of low-level vampires, known as Midians, who are carrying out perverse crimes against humans. In addition, they also mock the organization that carries out the hunting of creatures of the night. On Route 17, Alucard and his companion follow the tracks of a pair of vampires responsible for the various crimes. In a large mansion, the duo of Midians prepare to flee the place in search of new victims. However, someone rings the doorbell of the residence. One of the vampires calmly approaches the door, but before he could do anything, several shots are fired in his direction. The door is completely destroyed. Alucard identifies his target and prepares to destroy it. The low-class vampire, meanwhile, uses a mini machine gun to attack his opponent. After several shots, the bullets in his gun run out and he feels completely helpless. Alucard says that his opponent is so weak that he cannot turn into mist or a bat to escape. And he can't even regenerate his own wounds, so he could never become a Nosferatus, that is, a high-level vampire. After that, Alucard manages to corner his target in a room and perform a burst of shots at the creature. The Scarlet Vampire then stabs his hand into his opponent's body, instantly turning him to dust. After eliminating one of the targets, Alucard asks his partner to eliminate the other vampire who is fleeing the scene. Sarah's Victoria, now as an agent of the Hellsing organization, tries to concentrate to perform a shot with her gun. She realizes that her target is moving very fast and the distance from her enemy is approximately 600 meters. Alucard asks her to concentrate and keep in mind that she is no longer a simple human, so to hit a vampire, she must shoot like a true vampire. The girl takes a deep breath and as she concentrates, her blue eyes turn red. The policewoman fires and with just one shot, she manages to cross the heart of the creature of the night. Instantly, the monster is eliminated. After that, Alucard says that the girl still has a long way to go and to complete her mission, she must eliminate all the dark creatures she finds. At the headquarters of the Hellsing organization, Integra notices that several vampire-related cases are popping up around the country. Moreover, they all follow the same pattern, as the attacks are made by low-level creatures. The attacks have no specific purpose. The director comes to the conclusion that someone might be creating a large-scale vampire army. In Italy, an old man goes to an orphanage run by Father Alexander Anderson, a man who serves the Vatican and is also active in hunting and eliminating vampires. The old man then informs him that numerous vampire attacks are breaking out in England. Anderson says the Hellsing organization, on behalf of the Protestant Church, is the one carrying out the work at the site. For that reason, he has no interest in getting involved with them. The old man, however, explains that this time the case took place in Northern Ireland, in the local town, Badrick. The Hellsing organization is already moving in and the church could not just watch and do nothing. Anderson says that this place belongs to the Catholic Church and not the Protestant, in which case they would be invading another territory. The priest quickly accepts the mission and questions the old man about what will happen if he meets someone from Hellsing. The mysterious man replies that only the members of his organization are the absolute instruments of God on earth, so anyone who tries to change that must be eliminated. In Ireland, Alucard invades a house where several ghouls were being controlled. The vampire fires several shots and manages to eliminate a large number of enemies in a few seconds. Sarah's enters the place and concentrates to eliminate her targets. With her high-precision weapon, she advances defeating her enemies and slowly begins to awaken her vampire instinct. Alucard instructs that the girl should always shoot her targets in the head or heart. After all, the humans who turned into ghouls were forced to become these repulsive creatures. For that reason, he tells Sarah that she must quickly put them out of their misery. The policewoman continues walking through the mansion until she reaches a corridor. In this place, several ghouls come out of the rooms with firearms and attack the girl. Sarah advances and very easily manages to dodge the shots that come towards her. The policewoman manages to eliminate everyone who was on the scene, and with her vampire instinct active, she tries to taste for the first time the blood of an enemy, but before she could do that, several bayonets go through her body. Alucard quickly identifies that those are holy bayonets. Then several scriptures are nailed to the walls of the corridor, generating a barrier of light. Just then, Alexander Anderson arrives on the scene and states that his mission is to destroy the fools who stand in his way. In England, Integra receives a report on Alucard's mission. She is told that the Vatican's unofficial operations unit is also involved in eliminating the creatures of the night, and only one man has been sent, Father Alexander Anderson. Integra fears what might happen if he meets with Alucard and the girl. At that moment, the principal decides to go personally to the city of Badrick. In Ireland, Father Anderson recognizes that there are only 2 more vampires in the place. After all, he himself has already eliminated the one responsible for creating the ghouls that were in that house. Sarah regains consciousness and realizes that she was not fatally injured. The priest informs him that none of his bayonets hit the girl's heart. He did that on purpose, as he didn't want to be interrupted while eliminating his main enemy. But now that it is done, the priest prepares to exterminate the vampire of the Hellsing organization. Anderson manages to carry out the first attack, sticking 2 bayonets in Alucard's neck. The vampire quickly counterattacks. Using his pistols, he fires a shot that hits his opponent in the head. Alucard claims that Anderson acted recklessly by attacking him directly, without even trying to set a trap. The vampire approaches his partner and asks her not to try anything, as he must regenerate his body first. At that moment, Anderson appears behind his adversary and again pierces the vampire's body with 2 bayonets. Alucard moves away and, at the same time, fires several shots that hit the priest's body. Anderson recovers from the attack and advances towards his opponent. He performs some physical attacks, but Alucard takes distance to make his shots more accurately. The priest wields several bayonets and quickly throws the blades towards the enemy. The vampire acts calmly and fires several shots to deflect the bayonets. However, Anderson takes advantage of this movement and advances towards his rival. The priest drives 2 bayonets into the vampire's hands, pinning him against a wall. Anderson wastes no time in firing several blades at his opponent. All the bayonets go through Alucard's body and finally, the priest removes his target's head with one of the blades. Ceres watched everything and was shocked to see that his master was completely defeated. Anderson laughs at the situation and can't believe that Alucard was the best agent of the Hellsing organization. The priest observes the scene and realizes that the girl has fled. He draws his bayonets again and states that he will finally finish his work. The girl manages to remove all the bayonets that were piercing her body. She follows frightened, but walks towards an exit with Alucard's head in her arms. At that moment, a blade is thrown and with that, it pierces Alucard's head on the wall. Anderson approaches the young woman and says that in no way will she leave that place alive. Ceres tries to escape through one of the windows, but realizes that the whole place was protected by a spiritual barrier. At the same moment, the woman hears the voice of her master. She observes that the vampire's head is disintegrating into a large amount of blood. In his subconscious, Alucard asks the girl to drink his blood, because that way, she will become a vampire with a gigantic power. The girl goes into shock at this request and is unable to make a move. Anderson takes advantage of the moment to carry out his last attack, but before he could eliminate her, Director Intriga arrives on the scene and destroys his blades with several shots. The director of the Hellsing organization says that Anderson's attitude was against the agreement that the organization has with the Vatican. For this reason, he should immediately withdraw from that place, because Hellsing has the right to carry out activities in that location. The priest becomes furious and advances towards Integra. With his bayonets, he quickly eliminates the 2 security guards who were standing next to the woman and makes an attack on her. Integra manages to stop the onslaught with her sword. She says that Anderson is also a monster. After all, he has undergone a bioengineered regeneration process, being able to recover quickly from any mortal injury. The priest claims that everyone around him is weak before his great power. He reveals that he even eliminated the great agent of the Hellsing organization. Telling him that he removed Alucard's head, Integra replies that this is nothing to his vampire. Ceres gets into attack position and points her gun in Anderson's direction, ordering him to back away from Integra. The director of the organization states that in a few seconds, Alucard will return and even stronger. Anderson doesn't believe these words, but at the same moment, a group of bats that were flying around nearby enters the place, destroying all the windows. Thus, the sacred barrier is finally destroyed. Integra comments that Alucard is completely different from the other vampires in that even if they remove his head or pierce his heart, he will not be eliminated in any way. He is the greatest creation of the Hellsing family and the best vampire hunter. Alucard returns to battle once again and with a new body, facing Anderson in yet another duel. The priest manages to cut off both arms of the vampire, but his opponent manages to regenerate completely at an absurd speed. Anderson still claims to be stronger than everyone, but decides to retreat in the face of that situation. He conjures his sacred scriptures and teleports from the place. After all the confrontation, Integra says that Anderson attacked a member of the organization and provoked a scene of chaos. In the face of this situation, the woman claims that the Vatican will pay for it. She also tells Alucard that there is another large organization working in the shadows and they are probably the ones behind the spate of vampire attacks around the world. The vampire then asks his boss to give him permission to exterminate all these enemies, but Integra says that this is not yet the ideal time for that. Alucard understands and states that it will be a great pleasure to fulfill the future attack orders that his boss orders him. After that, the vampire approaches Ceres and questions why the girl did not take his blood. The young woman replies that she was not sure and that her mind prevented her from doing that. Alucard says that the girl is useless, but still thinks it will be good to have a partner to carry out missions. Integra questions why Alucard turned her into a vampire. He says he doesn't have an answer for that yet, but by spending time by her side, he will surely find a reason. With the end of the mission, the members of the Hellsing organization return to England, and at that same moment, someone unknown has plans to carry out a great war and start a terrible confrontation. What powerful opponents will Alucard still face? Will Anderson return stronger? So, what did you think of this anime? Leave it in the comments below. And if you liked the video, like it and subscribe for more anime recaps. See you next time.